a live 2019 fantasy football mock draft here with you guys. So let's get into it. Okay, a lot of people have Saquon here at the 1 spot, and I get that. I don't think that you could go wrong with any of the top 4 running backs in 2019. Barkley, Elliott, Kamara, McCaffrey, any one of those guys is arguable at the 1.01 without question. But for me, the guy that's the most consistent is going to be Alvin Kamara, back-to-back 81 reception seasons, over 1,500 yards. He is the definition of consistency, and that offense is built, I think, to cater to him, and it's built around him, and I love the situation. So for me, it makes Alvin Kamara the safest pick, and I'm going to highlight the guys as I lock them in. So Kamara is the 1.01 for me. My number 2 is going to be Zeke Elliott. I get that Barkley's the most talented running back in the league. When you talk about situation, Zeke Elliott has an amazing situation. Since they acquired Amari Cooper during the season last year, as soon as they acquired Cooper, Elliott was, I believe, according to a lot of different rankings and analysis, the number 1, what's going on, Devin? The number 1 fantasy football running back from the point that the Cowboys acquired Cooper. So there's an argument to be made that Elliott is the 1.01. For me, I'm going Kamara, then I'm going Elliott, and then I'm going Barkley, so I can definitely check him off at this point. Everything below the red is the ADP, the average draft positions for these players, and I'm moving them around, and when I lock them into place, I'm locking them into that red color so that you know that that is actually my mock. So everything in red is my mock, everything below it is the ADP that I'm using and dragging and dropping up. And this is the rankings that you find on sleeperu.com. Makes it really fun to draft, makes it really fun to prep and get, your players ranked where you want them. Clear 1.04 is Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it would be really hard. It would be hard to argue anybody taking him at the 1.01. I love McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey is definitely going to have a huge season. I do worry about his usage in terms of dynasty, but that's down the road for 2019. He'll be fine. I think he's a great 1.04. Then after that big 4, really, you could argue that any one of these guys belongs at 10 or they belong at 5. For me, Hopkins, I think I'll keep him right where he is according to the ADP data. He is my 1.05. I just think the volume's there. He's in his prime. He looks amazing, and that offense will only get better once they get more dynamic and they're able to, I think, run the ball a little bit better in 2019. Watson's 1 year further removed from his ACL tear, so he's going to be more efficient. I just think that things can only get better for Hopkins as long as he stays healthy, and I have no concern about him staying healthy. Davante Adams is very arguable here, but I think I'm going to roll with, I'll go Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon has 10 TD potential any season he's playing. Locking him in. Again, locked in players are in red. The players below are actually the ADP order, so you'll see me drag from that pool of players and lock them into my mock draft in the red. Gordon, to me, yeah, there's some injury risk, and that's why I wouldn't take him 2, 3, or 4, but he's capable of being that good in that 2, 3, 4 range. So really, I wouldn't call him a bargain at number 6, but I think that the risk is minimized a lot more getting him at 6 or 7, given that, even if he missed a couple of games, he probably could still earn you that value. Now, if Melvin Gordon didn't miss a single game, he probably would score like a top 2 or 3 overall pick. So pretty safe pick, I think, in the 6 to 8 range. If you're lucky enough to get him there, in that 7, 8 range, you're even better off. But Davante Adams and Mike Thomas are a tough call here for me. I could go either way with these guys. I think they're both going to have similar seasons, but I think Mike Thomas is a little bit higher ranked than Davante Adams for me, so I'm going to lock Thomas in, then I'll lock Adams in. And then now we're going to get a little bit controversial, I think, because a lot of people are going to have Connor here. A lot of people are going to have Todd Gurley here, and you guys know how I feel about Todd Gurley in 2019. I think he's the biggest bust candidate. We've seen it in quite a long time as people are ranking him, and it's a lot about where he's ranked. Is there a place where I will pick him? Yes, you're going to see that in a minute. You're going to see Smitty take Todd Gurley for probably the first time, and you're going to be shocked that I draft him. But at some point you do draft him because you can handcuff him, you can trade him. I just think that I'll never be put in an actual real life situation, a real draft where somebody lets him fall to me to where I have to make that decision. But I'll show you where my line in the sand is for Todd Gurley and where I would pick him. But Todd Gurley, to me, is nowhere close to this range. James Conner, I wouldn't take anywhere near here because I've released a lot of content on James Conner. The fact that Eddie Faulkner, the running backs coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was Jalen Samuels' coach in college at NC State, where he used Samuels a lot in the passing game, so much so that Samuels entered the NFL as a rookie last year as a tight end eligible player, on top of being a running back eligible player, because he catches the ball so well and did so well under Faulkner at NC State. Now Faulkner is the running backs coach. Not saying that by itself will anoint Samuels the starting job, and I'm not saying that he'll take it outright from Conner, but Conner proved that he couldn't stay healthy last year. That in itself, getting hurt one time, wouldn't be a total like red flag, avoid Conner. But you mix in the fact that Samuels looked just as good, if not better as a receiving back, just as good in terms of running the football. Given the fact that Conner did break down, they may want to try and keep him healthy this year. Given the fact they drafted Benny Snell, who by himself could be a top 5 to 10 running back if he was in this lineup. So for me, the move to make, pass on Conner as long as you can until it becomes just ridiculous value, which I'll show you where that is, and then draft Samuels and Snell together as a secret weapon stash, and pick another player instead of Conner. And then you have the best of both worlds if your league rosters are big enough and you're able to draft a running back like that duo to stash on your bench. Not everybody can take a couple backup running backs on the roster because the rosters are small. So know your league, know your league size, your roster sizes, and don't try something like that unless you can actually make it work for your team. But for me, I'm passing on Conner here. I'm going to drag Conner down quite a bit because, again, I am not taking him anywhere near this range. So let's drag him right down here where Gurley is for now. I'm going to say that my next pick would be Lev Bell. Lev Bell is arguable anywhere between 8 and like 12, I think. Some drafts I could mock draft tomorrow and rank him 10, rank him 8, rank him set. I probably wouldn't go as high as 7 because I think Mike Thomas, I think Adams even, and Hopkins. Yeah, so given Gordon, I think the highest I could go with Bell would be 9, so I take that back. Given these options above him, probably in no way can I see myself passing on any of these options for Bell. But Bell locked into 9, 10, very, very arguable in that spot. Julio's arguable here. David Johnson's very arguable. Odell Beckham Jr. I'm going to raise up here because I think his value is right around this range. I would even consider taking him at the bottom of the first round. Julio as well. And then I guess I'm going to throw David Johnson. Let's see here. I'll put DJ right above Julio and lock this in as my top 12. Put him right here. Odell Beckham Jr., he's changing teams. He hasn't stayed healthy, but he's going to be happy in that environment, playing alongside his best friend, Jarvis Landry, getting thrown the football by Baker, touchdown maker, who's going to have a huge monster season in 2019. Wouldn't be shocked at all if the Browns were a deep playoff playing team that made the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I actually have my Super Bowl ticket for the Browns right here on the wall in this frame, hopefully to be cashed at the end of the year. Looking at how this offense is going to mirror a lot of the way Kansas City, exploded and became so aggressive. And I know a lot of people think there's too many mouths to feed, so Beckham won't get his, or Landry won't get his, or Chubb won't get enough touches, or if Hunt gets in there, he won't get enough touches. But they're going to up the production a ton. Odell Beckham Jr., very capable, I think, of 12, 13 TDs and a very happy, very productive, very potent season for him. I think he'll be one of those good stories where a wide receiver does change teams and blows up. I think Baker Mayfield is in for a top 3 fantasy football QB season. And who else I like a lot is Dalvin Cook, who I am going to bring up the list here. You are in my top 12 to 14 easily. We have Alvin Kamara going 1.01, Elliott going at 2, Barkley at 3, McCaffrey at 4, Hopkins at 5, Melvin Gordon at 6, Mike Thomas at 7, Davante Adams at 8, LeVeon Bell at 9, Odell Beckham Jr. at 10, David Johnson at 11, Julio Jones at 12, and Dalvin Cook, a surprising to some people, I believe it will be at least 13 at 2.01. And what do you know? There's Gurley and Conner, but guess what? Not going to take them. In fact, Todd Gurley, James Conner, and Joe Mixon right here are three guys that I'm still not taking him here.